have to tell you about what I've just gone through. So I go to my, I've just been to my little convenience store, right, to go get some bread and coffee creamer for Libby. And I walk in and I hear, hey. I didn't see him because I'm behind the aisles. So I said, hey, and then I'm the only person there. So obviously I know he's talking to me. So then I walk up, give him my bread and my thing, and he's like, nice dress. And I'm like, well, thank you very much. It's not actually a dress. I've got like a cropped hoodie on and like a long black skirt with some patent heel boots. I do look fantastic, if I do say so myself. And I'm like, well, thank you. It's actually a skirt. And he's like, looking good. And I'm like, hell yeah, I am. I mean, you know, I'm all for like feminism and like, we don't like catcalling, but who doesn't love a compliment? Me, I do. I love one. My husband tells me every single day. Although he hasn't told me today, only because he hasn't seen me yet. But when he gets home, I know he will say it. Libby, however, has told me I look beautiful today. And then she was like, well, you look beautiful every day. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, I just got complimented by the man at the shop. Which, you know, nice.
For as long as I can remember, Canadians have always held the title in my life of the nicest people I've ever met, consistently. And this is coming from someone that has traveled the world and has seen all types of people, right? But Canadians have always been just like chef's kiss, right? But I've never actually been to Canada until now, right? I just got to Toronto yesterday, and this is my introduction to Canada. And fuck, man, you guys are like genuinely that nice. And I kept asking around to the locals, I'm like, is everyone nice? And everyone's like, yeah, maybe we're Canadian. I'm like, that's so fucking, I love that it just keeps on living to like all the bypassers that I met throughout my life. And also, y'all are flirtatious as fuck. Like, excuse me? And I hear Montreal's worse. So let me do one step at a time. You know, Toronto is my introduction. Let me soak it in, and then we'll venture off into other ventures. But like, so far, Canadians, y'all are, you should take pride in being known as like such amazing, nice people. Like that alone is just very sexy. So shout out to you guys.
Might actually be the kindest people I've ever met. I posted a silly little slideshow a couple days ago about my move to Canada. I barely said anything on it, and 60,000 of you have viewed it. I don't understand what's happening. But apparently the internet has feelings about me moving to Canada. And I'm so, in the best way possible, overwhelmed and floored by the kindness, the warmth, the love, the welcoming, the acceptance. 600 of you have decided to follow me? What? There's 1,000 comments? There's like 3,000 likes on it? It was a few photos and a bunch of words. It was never something that I expected this type of outpouring over. And when I tell you that this was not my experience in the United States where I came from, I mean that so sincerely. The welcoming, the love, the gratitude, the openness is unmatched. Thank you so much. It's not lost on me. It's not lost on my family. This means so much to me. Thank you.
A little unexpected love came my way this morning, and I just have to share it. I've been pretty much housebound with ice and snow this past week, but this morning I had a medical appointment and I was determined to make it. So being 83 years of age, I put some cleats on my winter boots and off I went. Well, I made the 10-minute walk without problem. No fall. I didn't fall, didn't break any bones like a friend of mine had just done a few days ago. After my appointment, I was heading home and I thought, the wild birds must be starving with all of their usual food under a foot of snow and ice. Fortunately, there was a pet store nearby, so I stopped in to buy some wild bird seed. While serving me, the proprietor said, "Have you got a sweet tooth?" Not sure what he said. Because of his accented English, I asked him to repeat. "Have you got a sweet tooth?" he said. "I do," I replied. "Well, come with me." And he led me to a refrigerator filled with all sorts of frozen ice cream goodies. "Choose one," he said. "Oh, thank you very much, but I'm on foot and I can't really carry much." "Never mind, I'll drive you." "My name is Rishi. What's your name?" "I'm Diane," I said. I was so astonished that I hardly could think of what to say. I just accepted his offer, and in a moment or two we were in his car with the ice cream cone. I was home in 5 minutes, safe, sound, and warm. You know, it seems to me that I read and hear a lot of negativity towards immigrants these days in the news and on social media. But as for me, I just met a lovely man who made my day and filled my heart with the warmth of kindness. Rishi, Canada can use a lot more people like you. Thank you.
This is how I know Canada is not a real place, okay? I was just in my building elevator. It was a full elevator. We're just riding down, and I have a backpack on, and I'm trying to put on the second strap, and I'm like reaching for it with my arm down, and this woman behind me takes my backpack and moves it closer to my arm and says, "Go ahead." This country is not a real place, I'm telling you. Where else do you find people this nice for no reason?
Canadians of all walks of life are the best people in the world.
Wow.
And
That's a big statement to make.
No, it's real. It's not just because you're here.
Yeah.
Many years in the business, and Canadians, they have my heart. They're the best people.
You've met people from all over the world.
All over the world.
So you know what everybody's like around the world.
Yes. Like, say something's going bad or the weather or anything, you guys are always like chill. Like, excuse me. You're like, you just have my heart.
I'll tell you something I love about Canadians, their trust. When I first moved to Canada, I came during Thanksgiving. I met someone on the Monday. By the Friday, they were inviting me to their family's home to join them for Thanksgiving. That is insane. I was always appreciative of that and I never forgot it. For one, I remember when my Airbnb was running out and my neighbour said to me, "You can come stay with me for a couple of days, why not?" I would say moving to Canada has been easy because you Canadians have made it easy. Your generosity, your kindness, your willingness to help people, that's what makes Canadians stand out against other people. Their overall willingness to help. Never change.
Another thing I noticed when I moved from Eastern Europe to Canada in 2018 was how generous people here are with their compliments for other people. Like, it's so easy for people here to just say that someone else is amazing or is great or is good at their job or is funny or is intelligent and all these good things. Coming from Moldova, we have a very big ego there, so it almost feels like if you praise someone else, you somehow accept that you are worse than them. It's weird, it's toxic, it's not good. But when somebody would tell me like, oh, there's a new manager coming in, for example, at my previous job, you're gonna love her, she's amazing, she's so smart, she's so funny, she's so good with people, all these good things, I would take it personally. And I would think, ooh, competition. Is she better than me? Is she funnier than me? Is she smarter than me? All these things. Instead of being happy that I'm going to get a great colleague to work with, I was thinking through the lens of, oh, she's my competition. Like and then I would have this like immediate unpleasant feeling towards that person. And I didn't even know that person. I fully acknowledge that's so dumb and like rooted in, I don't know, inferiority complex, or I don't know, it's just a bad concept to have, mindset. So I had to learn to let go of my ego and get excited when somebody would praise someone else, because I understood that if I was good at my job and I did, you know, a lot of things well, then people would talk about me the same way they talked about other people. So, you know, keeping a positive attitude and just working hard and enjoying yourself will give people this energy and this inspiration to be around you. So then they would praise you to other people. And I learned to do that, and I learned to let that stupid mindset go. And it's become like, it was so much more freeing, and working and just making friends became so much easier, because whenever someone would talk in a really positive way about someone else, I would get excited to meet that person, when before it wasn't necessarily the case.
So guys, two things. I went to Tim Hortons. I got a coffee and a selection of donuts, which look amazing. And firstly, my order, when I put in my order, a selection of 6 donuts and a small latte, $10. That's like £5. It's so cheap. Anyway, I get to the front window and the woman is like, oh, the car in front paid it forward? I'm like, what? What do you mean? What does that even mean? Apparently, the woman in front of me paid for my order? I am actually shocked, because in England, you wouldn't get someone paying for your order. No way. And this woman spent $10 on my donuts and coffee, and she doesn't even know me. Thank you very much, whoever that lady was, very kind. I didn't know that was a thing here. I will pay it forward. I'll buy someone else something. Knowing my luck, it'll be $50 order. I found that very strange coming from England. You would not do that in the UK.
I wish I just filmed the conversation that I just had. I'm in Elk Point. There's one pub, and I called them and I said, hey, look, I've had a real rough week. I said, I'm canoeing across Canada, and I'm looking for a hot meal and a cold drink. You know, I said, is there a taxi service in town, or maybe you guys provide that and I can pay for it? And he says, I'm on my way. And I said, no, give me 15 minutes and I'll move all my stuff up and get ready. And then he says, no, I'm on my way, I'll give you a hand. It's like, Canadians, I tell you what, I freaking love you guys. You're not gonna believe it. But the guy who came from the pub that I called, his name's Cody. And as soon as he came here, within 30 seconds, he offered me a warm house, a clean bed, and to dry my clothes. I am constantly just being blown away by Canadians. The nicest people ever. ever.
I could tell a million stories like this, but let me share an experience I had with some Canadians just yesterday. This group did everything Americans have the reputation of doing. They were loud, they took up a lot of space, they were oblivious to the other people around them, they weren't saying please or thank you, they were quite demanding, they complained about things that were different here in the UK, they identified themselves by city. The woman behind them also happened to be Canadian. They chatted for a minute, and after the first group left, she mentioned it to me. How funny, I didn't realize they were Canadian until they said they were from Vancouver, and I'm from Calgary, just on the other side of the mountains. And then she talked for a full minute about being mistaken for an American and all the reasons why that's so deeply offensive, because Canadians are not like Americans at all. None of this was because she wanted to rightly be recognized for her own nationality. It was because Americans are bad and Canadians are good. And I just stood there and smiled, and she felt comfortable saying all this because she thought I was Scottish. Again, all of that is behavior often uniquely attributed to Americans. I didn't know any of them were Canadian until they said it. They didn't recognize each other as Canadians, and not one of them clocked me for a fellow North American. So the idea that people who aren't even from North America can always or easily distinguish between us is absolute nonsense. That's just an outright lie that people tell themselves, and we can see through it. People will assign behavior to one group or another based on their biases and prejudices. There's a reason Americans wear Canadian flags when they travel. It's because they know that all these people who dislike Americans can't actually recognize Americans, and that they'll get treated better based solely on the appearance of being Canadian. Again, I could tell you a million stories. And every day, people from all over the world engage in behaviors that fit American stereotypes. On this app alone, I can think of a few big examples recently that got blamed on Americans. The German girl at the 7-Eleven in Japan, the Australian girl who didn't know that there were beaches in the Netherlands, that English girl who was like kicking off at the food cart in Vietnam. We all see these people get proven wrong about their prejudices over and over and over. The question is whether they will take the opportunity to examine those prejudices, reflect a little.
I'm going to tell you some culture shocks that I've experienced as a Filipino living here in Canada. And if you're a newcomer here in Canada, I'll tell you something at the end so you can avoid getting culture shock. Number one, of course, Canadians say sorry every time. I don't know why, but even if you're the one who bumped into them, or even if you're the one who actually made the mistake, they're still going to apologize to you. In the Philippines, no. Another one is prices before taxes. Like if you go to a store, it's $1 until it's $1 and something at the end. In the Philippines, everything is set. Taxes are included in the total price. Canada, no. You go figure it out depending on your province. Another major thing is when crossing streets, I think roads here in Canada are very pedestrian friendly. Cars will stop. In the Philippines, that's a struggle. Lastly, their obsession with Tim Hortons. People are obsessed with Tim Hortons, but then if you ask them if they love Tim Hortons, they're gonna say no. But I think it's more of like the sense of nationalism that comes with it. We don't have that in the Philippines. We don't have like a brand that really represents our nation. But here in Canada, they have Tim's for that. If you say Tim Hortons, everyone will say, oh, Canada. And speaking of oh, Canada,
I think Canadians may be too nice for their own good. And the only reason why I say this is because I recently was in Canada and experienced this firsthand. A couple weeks ago, I was at this restaurant in Montreal. And at first, everything was normal. We all get seated, we get the menus, and then we start to order. When I order, I mention that I'm a vegetarian, and I proceed to order the vegetarian poutine. And the waitress was just like, great choice. And I tell you, this waitress just exuded happiness. She like complimented everyone. She was just so nice. Fast forward, the food comes, and I get what I think is vegetarian poutine. I start eating, it is amazing, everyone is enjoying their food. And the waitress comes by and she's just like, how's everything going? And we're all just like, amazing. Now, about halfway through me eating what I think is my vegetarian poutine, the waitress comes back to our table and she just says, I am so sorry, guys. And we all kind of just stop eating and look at her. He tells us that she accidentally switched up our orders and she gave me the non-vegetarian poutine. She was just like, sorry, so many times. And I felt bad because I don't really care. Like, I'm not that strict of a vegetarian. If someone makes a mistake, I'll just eat it. So I tell her like, no, it's okay. Like, I can eat this. I'm not that strict. She was just like, I feel so bad. I'm gonna get you the right dish. She goes off, and when she comes back, she not only brings a brand new dish of vegetarian poutine for me, she brings the entire table flights of champagne. And as she was giving us the champagne, she kept on saying, sorry. So I get through like half of my vegetarian poutine, but I cannot eat anymore because I ate so much of the other poutine. My entire table was pretty much done eating, so we decided to get the check. And we asked if we could split it. The waitress comes back with the checks and I don't get one. She tells me that she's so sorry for putting me through that and the restaurant comped my meal. I'm thinking to myself, putting me through what? You just gave me an extra dish of poutine and free champagne. But I kind of just roll with it because that's an ace. I then ask for a box for the food that I didn't finish, and I even felt bad asking for that because she's already giving me so much. And she was just like, oh, I'll do it for you, and she takes my food back to the kitchen. She comes back with my boxed food food and then another box of takeout poutine. Is that not overly nice? When the time comes to pay, the waitress asks everybody at the table to just not tip. It's just like, I'm so sorry, I put you guys through too much. And I'm thinking to myself, what did they go through? I didn't even really go through anything. In America, I feel like if they got your dish wrong, they wouldn't even tell you as long as you're happy. I feel like if every customer mishap was handled that way, nobody would be able to stay in business. How does Canada do it? Why is everyone so nice?
Europe has plenty of friendly and welcoming cultures, and every country has its own way of treating people. But Canadian politeness has a particular reputation. It often shows up in the smallest and slightest moments. I mean, a stranger holding the door open, someone helping a tourist who looks lost, a cashier making a small talk, or someone saying, I'm sorry for no reason after accidentally getting in your way. These things seem small, right? But sometimes the smallest moments are exactly what people remember. And that's where Canada seems to surprise some visitors. The interesting part is that Canadians themselves often don't see it as anything special. Then they see it as something normal. To them, it's just normal. That's what makes the whole thing fascinating. When a behavior becomes part of everyday's life, the people doing it may not realize it. They may not realize how noticeable it can be to outsiders. And perhaps that's why some Europeans are taking a second look at Canada. In a world where people are constantly talking about division, tension, and distrust, simple human decency and stand out. Of course, Canada isn't perfect. They are having their own challenges. Canada can be rude. They can disagree. They have their own social and political problems, just like every other country. So this isn't about pretending Canada is some perfect place where everyone is smiling all day. It's about something much simpler. The way people often choose to interact with one another. There's a certain expectation in Canadian culture that being respectful matters a lot. You don't have to become the best friends with a stranger, but you can still treat them with dignity. And perhaps that's what visitors notice the most, because kindness doesn't always mean doing something dramatic. Sometimes it's simple making another person feel comfortable. And when you experience that again and again, it can leave a lasting impression. That's why the conversation about Canadian kindness isn't really about Canadian being better than Europeans. It's about how different cultures express warmth and friendliness in different ways. A European visitors might arrive in Canada expecting the usual tourist experience, but then something small happens. A stranger helps them. Someone starts a conversation. A person goes out of their way to make them feel welcomed. Maybe, just maybe, that's the real secret behind Canada's reputation. Not that Canadians are perfect, not that they are always friendly, but that kindness alone is often treated as something worth practicing, even in ordinary moments. And perhaps that's why it stands out. Because in the end, people may forget the places they have visited. They may forget the building they have photographed. I mean, they remember how people made them feel, the comfortability. And that's something Canada seems to understand very well. So, folks, what do you think? Is Canadian kindness genuinely different? Or is it simply a different way of expressing the same warmth we see cultures around the world? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, please, and always remember to be respectful. And if you enjoy this conversation, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless Canada.